Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today I am going to give you a list of books that qualify as hard science fiction. Hard science fiction has a concern over scientific accuracy, but even there's quite a bit of leeway. So, for example, the very popular Three Body Problem trilogy of books has very strong scientific concerns, but at the same time, very fantastical things take place within these books. So I decided to go towards the opposite side for more realistic, if not perfectly realistic, versions of hard science fiction. And I'm gonna start with Rocket Girls. These are by Nojiri. These are actually an anime, if you prefer to watch an anime. These concern this girl here going off to the Solomon Islands to a private launch company that wants to send a person up into orbit to service satellites. Only problem is they don't have all the money in the world, and so they only have so much rocket they can build, and so they want a lightweight person to go up, and she's well under 100 pounds. They talk about things like using some kind of rubber as a rocket fuel. And it just so happens in the real world there is a space tourism company that uses a rubber form of rocket fuel to launch people up suborbital, and they float around for a few minutes in a plane and come back down to Earth. You have a appreciation of engineering in these because you have, for example, one character explained it to her. All he does is clean the inside of the rocket. But when that thing goes up, he's proud to be part of that team that accomplished that. This one here, the sequel, actually reads more like an anime. This one does not. This one, in the beginning, there's a splashdown, and they splash down in a pool, and the two girls get out and go clothes shopping. There's a whole chapter of them just shopping for clothes, being girls. Later on in the book, without trying to give away what's happening, they enter a room where there's a couple of people, and they get surprised, and one just charges at this other person, and a disaster results. And when I was reading it, I didn't quite understand what in the world set it off. Then I thought, well, I don't know. It reads kind of like the beginning does. It's an anime. It's a little sillier in that regard. Both of these books are light reading, but very good reading. Two excellent books. I really enjoyed these a lot. We have here Protector by Larry Niven. This is the same book, just different covers. I had a third, but I don't know what the hell happened to it. This is a first contact novel. This is your gateway drug to Larry Niven's known space. This one stays in the realms of hard science fiction, whereas when you get off into Ringworld, now you've got megastructures, you've got faster than light travel, hyperdrive, gravity control, and so on. If there's one thing that Niven does better than anyone, it's aliens. In this case, the alien is humanoid, but you'll understand what its purpose is as you go into the book. But it's not just what they look like and how they are biologically, it's how they are sociologically and mentally. The alien here is like a perfect logic being, and therefore doesn't really have a lot of free will. He just goes about, this must be the way, so I'm going this way. And he has a very single-minded determination about what his purpose is. It starts out with a little history lesson, as this particular alien, they live in the closer to the center of the galaxy, and he uses a ram scoop to zip out to where Earth is, about 28,000 light years from the center of the galaxy. Because of time dilation, he only experiences about 2,000 years, but he's only got about as much room as astronauts do on the space shuttle, and he just is able to endure such a thing, awake the whole time. When we get to Earth, or I should say our solar system, we have what they call single ships, where a single person is in a spacecraft looking something like a pen with a knob on the end with a exhaust tube coming out the back, and they are fusion powered, and we the story divides in the middle as the second half of the book takes place 200 or 300 years after the first, and you have a character who starts to realize he's been used unconsciously, like he's been drugged and made to do things, and he finds out this mystery and goes towards the outer reaches of the solar system to find out what's going on. So this there is another fun book, sort of related in a way, Life Among the Asteroids. A good friend of Larry Nibbins, one Jerry Purnell, talks about what's wrong with a lot of the things that might be presented in this book, like fusion-powered spacecraft, and how you get rid of all that heat and such. So a lot of hard sci-fi goodness right there, and why not. If I'm pronouncing it right, the Ouroboros Wave. This is a series of connected short stories. A black hole is detected in the solar system. It's a very small one, microscopic one, so it's not going to disrupt everything. But when you have something like that, you can throw stuff at it, and the energy it will throw off is something you can use. So they want to power the entire solar system off this black hole. So they go out, wrap a ring around it to magnetically control it. They want to move it. The society that springs up from this is adaptable. There is a chairman, but he's not really in charge. He's not a dictator. He may tell, for example, there's an asteroid that has a long orbit, and they want a team of people to go investigate. So you get some volunteers. Maybe someone will go, someone won't. Some people have a specialty in one field and some in another that will benefit the team. Teams change personnel left and right. Just an adaptable environment. This book is really good at making you feel how big our solar system is, especially when you're limited to real-world physics. You know, the Millennium Falcon can fly around it in a few minutes, but not here. So, Hull 03, this is, and I have a few that are like this. It's a big dumb object. It is a tube, there's hollow, and you rotate it, and you have gravity that way by a centripetal force. Someone in this book wakes up and he has no idea who he is. He has no idea what he's doing there. And he goes about a journey to find out what was going on. And you do find out the history of it, what happened to Earth. Some people criticize this book because you feel a little lost reading it. It's not exactly, if you follow word for word, it's like you're not really sure where you are or where he is. Well, that helps because the character's just as lost as you are. He has no idea what's going on here, and he has to uncover the mysteries, and he does run into other people. And they, together as a team, go through. There are things that patrol that they have to avoid, and they find out what's going on in here. That's excellent. This one, I usually don't buy too many books on a whim, but I wandered into Barnes & Noble and looked it over, read the back, said, yeah, I'm doing that, and I'm glad I did. Just like that one, Medusa Uploaded. This is Iron Man in space. We have a girl here who is traveling along with people in charge of the whole deal, and they are up to no good. And when she finds out that they're up to no good, they actually do capture her and go to throw her out an airlock between the stars. She is rescued by this artificially intelligent suit, and she sits in it. It has a head, but it also has these variety of tentacles that come out of its head, hence Medusa. And inside this thing, she's virtually unstoppable. And she goes about uncovering what these people are doing, and she decides to do something about it. A bit superhero-ish, but excellent. The sequel has a little time travel type business going on. not quite as hard science fiction, but either way, both books good. Both books excellent. Hopefully I'm not going to make too big a pile there. Got to get to... let's do... Well, might as well do these first. Same thing. A big cylinder in space, only this time it's coming towards us. We didn't build it. And so we have to go investigate. And the uncovering of the mystery as they go through. This is a lot about technology. How did it get here? Why is it here? What's going on? They slowly turn it on, or is it turning itself on as they go and explore this very large object that has come into our solar system. You might have heard about, I can't remember how it's pronounced. Oumuamua is a space object that came to our solar system. That's basically what's happening here, and they have to go catch it. Only we caught that after it was leaving. This is as it's coming towards us, and we go and intercept it. This is actually part of a series, and whereas this one is more concerned about their exploration of the technology, the others start getting more and more into the human drama of being essentially trapped on these things as they go off out of our solar system. There's a satisfying ending for a lead character, but not quite a satisfying ending for the series as a whole, for the idea that's at the end of it. But otherwise, it's all good reading, with the first one probably being the best one still. Arthur C. Clarke. Speaking of which, 2001 A Space Odyssey. If you've never read this book, if you've never seen the movie, I'm telling you right now, the best way to experience this is to see the movie first. The movie is a powerful mystery, whereas the book is just pragmatic, pretty much just tells you what's going on. Nothing to it. But see the movie first. And this is, the movie and the book were created at the same time. This went to publishing, and in the book they go out to Saturn, whereas in the movie they go to Jupiter, because Stanley Kubrick didn't like the way the special effects of the Rings of Saturn books, so he went with Jupiter instead. So there's some differences, but I personally think this is an example of the movie actually being better than the book, and but for Arthur C. Clarke, it did spawn a series. 2010, The Year We Made Contact. This one was actually also turned into a movie, which is really good and underrated. And in fact, I accidentally basically saw it first, because in the 80s when we had cable, they just didn't have this one on at the time, but they had this one. So I saw this one first. And having experienced that way, it actually made the mystery of seeing the first one even deeper. He went on to make Odyssey 3. Then the final one, 3001, like, this one gets a little further away from, just a little bit further away from hard sci-fi, if only because by this time Earthlings developed a bit of gravity control. Otherwise, still all hard science fiction. And it is fun to find out just what the monolith is, what it does. And if you want even further reading, The Making of Stanley Kubrick's 2001 A Space Odyssey is an excellent documentary style book. We are almost to the end. You had to have heard of this one, Martian by Andy Weir. It got turned into a great movie. It was a wonderful book. Just science survival is what this is, as the botanist of a Martian expedition gets left behind, and he has to make food, he has to keep oxygen, he has to survive on Mars all by himself. We like to What was I gonna say? Well, it there's a line in this that is left out of the movie, and what it is he has to use his fecal matter to fertilize his food, and it's the funniest line in the book, where he says, "My butthole is doing as much as my brain to keep me alive," and they left that out of the movie for some reason. I don't get it. Wonderful science writing right there. This is probably Andy Weir's, let's call it the least of his books, but it's a good book. It's a lunar space colony. You have a smuggler. She's looking for a big score. She's a criminal. But she runs into a variety of entities trying to get control of this, because this is going to be the gateway to untold riches throughout the solar system as you exploit resources. The only issue I had with the book is that it almost seems like it's a little too small a city for all the stuff that can possibly be going on there. It reminded me of the movie Tombstone, where, well, we got enemies, and we got to show them what's up, and they're walking right by us right now. Right there they are. It's a little too claustrophobic for all the activity going on there. Otherwise, it's still really good. He's a good, very good writer, Andy Weir. This one, this I think is his best book. Project Hail Mary. An organism is eating the energy of our sun, and of course that's going to affect the Earth, and it's going to kill off all life on Earth. As they investigate what could possibly be going on in other solar systems, they actually find another star system that's being attacked in this way, but the star is just fine, and they want to find out what in the world is there that is resisting this. So they have a suicide mission, and they send people to go investigate. The world's resources are put towards it. And the lead guy, who again is going to science his way out of everything, does not want to go. And he is essentially forced. He doesn't have much of a choice. He has to do this. The wonderful thing about this book, it's a peaceful book, I guess is the way to put it. You run into, there's an alien, and just the most wonderful friendship comes out of this. They have to learn to communicate. They have to both learn what's going on and find out what's eating stars. And this has probably one of the best endings I've ever read in a book right here. Project Hail Mary. There's nothing on that cover. I'm just showing you a blank book because I don't know what I did with the jacket. Project Hail Mary. Again, science. There's a few holes to be poked in it. Somebody doing math that maybe the author didn't do just to get his story across, but otherwise this falls well into this category of non-fantastical science fiction reading. And that's my whole list. There's any number of books I got on the shelves that were kind of near misses, I guess. Get a little too far out there, even though they might concern themselves with some kind of mathematical accuracy, like when you talk about Larry Niven's Ringworld. How to stabilize it, how to build it, how to make it work, and it's at least somewhat consistent, but still it's a huge mega structure. And so I backed off, like I said at the beginning, from the more fantastical stuff and tried to keep it to the other end of the spectrum. So that's a lot of good reading, some of my favorite books, and I hope you'll like them too. Thank you very much. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.